Good morning, YouTube. Yeah, no, it's like, oh crap, my card's went off. It's like 8 something in the morning here, like 8:30. I'm so tired. I didn't go to bed till like maybe 2 o'clock just because I work graveyard, so I'm like, my body's so used to like staying up all night. But I had to go to bed because I had to take my husband to his orientation today. My husband is officially a certified nursing assistant, which is what I am, and I said that in my very first video. But he now works at Hearthstone Rehab and Skilled Center. It's a nursing center here in Reno, Nevada. They take care of patients who have the need of rehab based off surgeries they've had. They are also a long-term care facility, so family members who are too old or are not healthy enough to take care of themselves, they are put into these facilities, and what they do is they literally take care of them on a day-to-day basis. You know, as a CNA, we take care of people, we take care of patients, and what we do is, obviously we're not nurses, we're nursing assistants. Now, nursing assistants are different in each state. Each state has certain scopes of practice that they will let CNAs do. And what I mean by a scope of practice is what you're allowed to do under that license. So example, most registered nurses, they get orders from doctors, they pass medications, they do assessments, all sorts of stuff. Many of you probably are nurses, have family members who are nurses. You know, you've gone to school for nursing, or you decided not to, became a doctor. Like we all pretty much know generally what a nurse does. Now a CNA is a little different. I'm gonna roll my window because it's cold. Nursing assistants, we're a little different. What we do is we can do everything except pass medications, do finger sticks for patients who are diabetic, to tell blood sugar types, different stuff like that. As a CNA, what I do in the state of Nevada, I am able to, I take care of patients as, you know, keeping them clean. So I dress patients every day, and of course I work in a hospital, I don't work in a care facility, so they're not wearing their regular clothes, they wear hospital gowns. So we make sure that everyone gets up in the morning or even at night. Not everyone likes to take showers or baths at night. Some people are more comfortable doing it at night. I happen to be one of those people. I would rather take a shower at night because I want to feel clean before I go to bed. But I'll also take a shower in the morning. Now for me, my morning's like 3:30 in the afternoon. But still, you understand what I mean. So a lot of patients, we will get them up, we'll get them ready for the day, brush their teeth, comb their hair, you know, give them a new gown, change their linens. If they need to go for a walk, we take them for a walk. They'll walk around the unit of wherever they happen to be in the hospital. We're in charge of transferring patients, we're in charge of making sure patients get fed. You know, it's called activities of daily life. So what you do in your daily life, you know, you walk, you bathe, you brush your teeth. It's a lot of hygiene. Patients who are bedridden, though, are a little different. They are patients that need everything done for them. Some patients, they just need assistance to get up, and then once they get up and, you know, they get the blood flow and they get in the bathroom, they're able to do everything on their own, but you still stay there to prevent falls. Patients who are bedridden or who are on bed rest is a different story. Those are patients that need a little bit more care and a little bit more time. They're patients that you really have to just be literally patient with, because their bodies are in a state of where they can't really do much because, you know, they're not that healthy. Or patients who are just, they're so sick that they just don't have the strength to do it. And that's where it comes into like patients who, like a lot of elderly women, they're not able to do certain movements, same as men. Men, though, it's a little bit more different, just because men, they like to have their manliness. You know, that's what makes them a man. It's like their manliness. They have their spirit. I have taken care of so many men who are just, they're the cutest things. You know, they try to be that big, strong guy. And I think that's so honorable, because men are just, they're so different from women. So even elderly men, they still want to take care of themselves like they're 25 or 30 years old. And it's like, no, boo-boo, you like 70. You gotta slow your roll. You slow down. You know, like you don't want to hurt yourself. So it's just kind of, it is what it is, but I enjoy it. I enjoy taking care of people. Now, a certified nursing assistant is different in each state. So what I'm allowed to do in Nevada is going to be very different than what someone in New York can do, or Pennsylvania, or California. Now my coworker, who's also one of my closest friends. Like, I love her to death. She worked in California. Well, they were allowed to do finger sticks. And what a finger stick is, if you've ever gone to a doctor's office and got your finger pricked, that's kind of what a finger stick is. And what it does is it tells your blood sugar type. So a lot of nurses and doctors, they will do this so they know if your blood sugar is too high, if your blood sugar is too low. And this is used for a lot of diabetic patients. And it can also be used for other health assessments as well. But mainly for diabetic patients, you want to make sure that a medication that they're being given is not going to cause them any kind of infection. You want to make sure that they have been fed the proper meal. You make sure that dietary has given them what they need. So that way they stay at a healthy blood sugar level, because if they're not, then that's when insulin is required. And then some other patients, they have insulin on a regular basis, which is fine. I mean, I'm not a nurse. I did not go to nursing school, but I do plan on going to physician assistant school. So I am diving more into healthcare and understanding more of what I want to do. Right now, I go to a community college here in Reno, Nevada. I go to Truckee Meadows Community College, and I am in the process right now of trying to transfer to the University of Nevada, Reno. And the reason for that being is because I would like to finish up my major of community health science. And that is basically, it's not just like, it's about, how can I describe this? It's not about specific parts of healthcare. It's about all of it. So take what's been going on in the world lately. There's Syria. So take, for example, the World Health Organization. They're called WHO. If you go to their website, you can find any kind of information about health, about the world, about anything. You can literally find anything. And I actually use them in my community health science class because of the information that I can get from them. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I'm just like out of it. And the music in the background, that's my radio, because it's nice and sunny and I like country music. It's my life. And I have Starbucks somewhere. But as I was saying, community health science, it's about the world, it's about the community. You learn about every aspect of healthcare, from epidemiology, which is a study of diseases, and you can learn about what the difference is between an epidemic, a pandemic, and there's different varieties and stages that a disease can travel. And that's what I like about community health, is it's not just like one thing. It's not just about hospital or care facilities or this part of this town. It's literally about the world. And you really learn how things travel and how we're able to learn all this information, how we're able to, make things better. And I mean, you learn about things that people are charged for in hospitals as well. So for example, this is actually a paper I did on healthcare associated infections. So what that means is, if you have ever had a family member or had surgery, most of the time they will insert a catheter. And what this is a tubing that goes inside your urethra from your outside genital area, and it drains your bladder. And what this can be used for in surgery is if you're having a surgery, that way, excuse me, if you need to use the restroom, you have a catheter and it's consistently draining your bladder. Now what it is it drains into this bag, and this bag has lines on it, and what it is it has measurements in milliliters. And these measurements are able to tell doctors, nurses, CNAs, anybody that needs to know about your output. And your output is what you let out of your body. Some people need that for surgery, just to make sure they're not retaining fluids, because a lot of people are running IV fluids while they're in surgery to make sure that nothing happens while they're in surgery. Some people have it, some men or women will have it as elderly patients for specific reasons. So with that, you have to do what is called Foley care. Now Foley catheter, it's the same thing, short term is Foley. And what it is you use antibacterial wipes, and you have to clean from the urethra down the tubing. The reason why that is because since that's down in your genitalia area, that's down in your genitals, there's sweat, there's bacteria, there are all sorts of microbes that can get into that tubing, and they can run everywhere. They're like little spores. They can go everywhere, and they can cause a UTI. And what this is, it can become very painful. And if you've ever had a UTI as a man or a woman, it is painful regardless. I mean, it burns, it hurts. I know from experience, when I was little, I used to have UTIs all the time just because of drinking too much soda, having too much sodium. Some people can't have colored drinks, like they can't have sodas, they can't have Kool-Aids, anything with color in it, because it literally just, it hurts. My great aunt Alice is one of them. She can pretty much only drink water or light colored juices because she gets urinary tract infections all the time. And it's just something that your body just can't produce that well. It can't break down that well, which is, that's just how your body works. But with a catheter, or even certain like IV lines or central lines, there are so many things that in the hospital or a care facility or wherever you're at that we have to put into the patient so that way they can get what they need to regain their health or regain their strength. And if you don't keep that clean, it can make the situation worse than what it is. And that's why it's so important to understand how to properly do care plans and care techniques, because you are literally taking care of someone. You're responsible for them. You are licensed to do this. And I feel so many people who are RNs or doctors or CNAs or whatever you are in healthcare get so jaded in their job that they forget that, hey, this person's life is in my hands. If I mess up even a little bit, I could really affect this person. For example, as a CNA, I take vital signs for nurses and I input it in the computer. And vital signs are, if you ever go to like an urgent care or you go to the ER, they say, okay, I'm gonna take a quick set of vitals on you. Vital signs would be like taking your blood pressure, taking your temperature, reading your pulse, counting your respirations, looking at your heart rhythm. And your respirations is how many breaths you take a minute. But when you take the respirations, you really don't want the patient or the person you're doing that to know, because then they're doing it on their own. They're automatically going to breathe a certain way. You want to see what their natural beat is when they're breathing. And the average range is about maybe 16, but they want to be from that 14 to 22 range. If they're lower than that, then that's really bad and they can go into respiratory distress. So for vital signs, that's what is so important. If I mischart a vital, if I put the wrong blood pressure incorrect on the wrong patient and a nurse passes a med that isn't on the correct scale, it could really affect that patient. Now, some of you might say, well, the nurse should double check it. The nurse should be able to trust me as a CNA enough to know that I'm putting in my vital signs correct. Now, it's one thing if the blood pressure is way, way too low or way, way too high. And way, way low, I'm talking like 80s over 50s. That's super bad. Or 180s over 110s. I'm just making up numbers. Blood pressures that would be super high, or super low. Those are blood pressures that, yes, nurses should recheck. I don't care what your status is. If you're a nurse and a CNA tells you what a certain blood pressure is, you need to recheck that, because not only does it matter if you recheck it, but you know what that patient has. Some CNAs don't know why patients are there, and honestly, we don't. We know what we're told and we know how they get up. So like someone may need a little bit more help than others. Some may need assistive devices, some may not. There's all sorts of different things that patients may need. So we don't always get to know all those details until later on in our shift. But as a nurse, you already know what's going on with that patient. So it's a little bit more expected that you check it. But I can check it too. If a nurse asks me if I can go recheck a blood pressure, I will go recheck a blood pressure. Just because I'm already there. And there's many times that we are the front line. Nursing assistants are that front line. If that nurse is busy on a phone call with a doctor, if they're helping another patient they have, sorry. And if your patient happens to go into some kind of like distress or something, you're that front line. That's why you have that license. So you already know what to do. And it should be like second nature, boom, do it. For me, I do get a little nervous because it's scary, You're saving someone's life, but you also don't want to mess up. And I think that's what makes your heart beat faster. But just to give you a little more information on a CNA, that's pretty much what it is. I assist nurses every day. I help them take care of patients. I don't pass medications. I don't do IV medications, anything like that. That is all the nurse. That is their scope of practice. My scope of practice is just basic care. Going on walks, bathing, hygiene, turning patients who are bedridden so they don't get bed sores or pressure ulcers. And honestly, it is fun to be a CNA. I love my job. I love my patients that I get. I work in a hospital, so I see different types of people all the time. But I love the connection I make. And I love the patients that I get, because sometimes they'll tell me their life stories. You know, if I have to do something within their room and I'll be there for a while, I'll ask them, you know, how's your family? How many kids do you have? You know, I like to get to know my patients because, for one, they're in the hospital. Not a lot of people like being in the hospital. I mean, you're sick. And also, hospitals are super expensive. Like thousands of dollars, like super thousands of dollars. So, you know, you just get to know your patient, get to know them, get to know, you know, their life, what brought them in, or, you know, what did they go to school for? I mean, well, I shouldn't say go to school for, you know, what have they done in their life? Because you never know, you might make a connection with that person that could change your life. I have had so many patients tell me stories about the past, especially, you know, men that I take care of. A lot of men who've been in wars, like, you know, World War I, feels like it, Vietnam, Iraq, you know, all these different wars that even women have gone through. You know, it's amazing to see what you can learn from someone, especially people who have been in healthcare. So, you know, that's just something to think about as a CNA or any healthcare provider. You know, learn from your patients, because you never know that they could change your life. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for right now. This video's actually gonna be more than my last video, so that's awesome. I know my last video wasn't that great. I was in my bathroom. I was just super excited. I am in my car, my 2017 Jeep. That is a stick shift. It's a stick shift. But you know what? God gave it to me. He knew I needed a car, and I kind of like it. I mean, it's a pain in the butt, but I'll get the hang of it. If you guys have any questions about more information about being a nursing assistant, or, you know, why you should become one, or different programs, just put a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and go ahead and put a thumbs up if you like this video, and go ahead and hit that little bell too. That way you can be notified of when I upload any more videos. But if you guys want any more questions about, like, different things, like specific things, or if you live here in Nevada and you would like different links to different programs that you can become a nursing assistant by, or even nursing, like if you really want information, especially for Nevada, go ahead and comment down below, and I will leave a few links when I get home. I'll leave a few links down below in the description box so you guys can see, you know, what else out there. Because that's one thing, as like a brand new YouTuber, I really want to give my viewers information. Like, I didn't just decide to do YouTube because I want tons of views. No, that's too much work. That's like way too much work to do that. I really want to put information out there that will be helpful to people and be beneficial to people. You know, and it's very important that we make sure, I mean, as a YouTuber, I'm brand new to YouTube. This is my second video. It's so important that I make sure what I'm saying is correct too, because last thing I want to do is saying something incorrect, someone watch it and be offended, because that's not my goal. But like I said, if you guys have any information, anything you'd like to add, go ahead and leave a comment down below. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. I said I wanted to leave an inspirational quote or a Bible verse at the end of my videos each time. I don't have one just yet because this was a random video I decided to do in my car, just because I'm not at home, and it's so beautiful out. Like, it's so pretty. And I just bought Starbucks and I didn't feel like going home just to record, and I was already out. So yeah, that's where we're at. But that's all I have for you guys, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.